Chris Tyson is an internet celebrity who is friends with the most popular YouTuber on earth, MrBeast. And he's been with MrBeast since the beginning of his channel, actually being his very first subscriber. Together, they would create content in the early days and turn MrBeast into the YouTube juggernaut it is today. Chris was a fan favorite of many viewers and was widely loved by the crew, his friends, the community. But in the last few months, he's been receiving a lot of backlash and hate for some of his decisions. But how did this happen? How did Chris go from being one of the most popular and loved people on YouTube, being MrBeast's best friend, his sidekick, to now not appearing in a video in almost a month? How did he become one of the most controversial and polarizing figures on the internet, which many people will say will actually ruin MrBeast's brand as well as his family's life and even entire generations of kids? Well, let me explain.
Now it's Chris's turn.
Hey, you ready, boys?
In the early days, Chris was the stereotypical southern accent, truck and gun loving American. But the first time he would receive some backlash was from last year in March of 2022, where he posted a picture of his nails. And then a lot more significant moment came a few months later where Chris explained he was considering getting a new passport because his picture looks nothing like him. And it was clear that Chris was getting more feminine the more and more time went on. His appearance would transfer over into the videos, and people were wondering if a member of the MrBeast crew and a close friend of Chris, Carl, who was a bit more feminine than other people, could somehow be rubbing off his influence on Chris, or if some things happened in Chris's personal life that caused these changes. But Chris would actually reveal that he had been taking HRT, which is a hormone drug that gives people the ability to change genders. Kinda. It causes you to produce more estrogen, which is the female hormone. So of course, people were wondering if this was due to some people in his circle or something going on in his personal life, but he had actually revealed a few years ago that he was actually bisexual, so I don't really think it was one of his friends. However, earlier this year, some jaw-dropping news came from Chris himself on Twitter, and he revealed that him and his wife had actually been divorced for a little over a year. And a lot of people were angry that he would quote-unquote abandon his wife and family by transitioning into a woman and leaving his son without a true masculine father figure in his life. However, Chris has denied this multiple times, explaining that he did this for Tucker so he could show up as his happiest self. But a viral clip that's actually been going around came from a video where MrBeast and the crew were just opening some fan mail, some words were said, and then it was very clear the energy in the room was off.
Look, they drew you. Do you mean they drew you so well? It looks just like you.
Nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice.
MrBeast was clearly uncomfortable with this situation, as well as all the other crew members just kind of being silent and keeping their mouths shut. Some people aren't happy with Chris coming out as transgender and leaving his wife and kid, and many people actually feel for Chris's son Tucker due to all this happening, but Chris has said multiple times he loves and will always spend as much time with Tucker as possible. So maybe he won't have a strong masculine father figure in his life, but that remains to be seen, and we'll see what Chris and his ex-wife do. However, there can be another serious problem for all the young children who watch and enjoy MrBeast. It's possible that there can be lots of young susceptible kids who look at Chris and what he's doing, and since these people are like superheroes to little kids, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to say that this could eventually lead to many boys and girls eventually convincing themselves that they are part of the LGBT community. And if this happens to the wrong kid, it can cause them to have a lot of problems with both themselves internally as well as their parents, especially if they aren't supportive of their decision. Because when I say this could possibly ruin a generation of kids, I don't mean it's a problem that they are part of the LGBT community, but because they could see what a successful person like Chris is doing and proceed to make a decision based on their idols, and that perhaps can lead them down a path that can be detrimental to themselves and the people around them and to their futures. I don't mean to make a video hating or spreading more negativity into the community, but it's a serious problem that thousands of kids who are currently watching MrBeast will decide to go down a road they weren't traditionally supposed to be on, and maybe lead to things like losing relationships, abuse, depression, or the abuse of something like alcohol or drugs. Coming out can lead people to live a happier life, but for others it can lead to a life of sadness, lack of acceptance, self-doubt, and a dark path they might not be able to recover from. But what do you guys think? Is this just a stupid argument, or could this be a serious possibility? Is Chris coming out a good thing for the future generations or a bad thing? Again, I don't mean to spread hate, but just simply put an input on this situation. Thank you guys for watching. I would appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel as we cover interesting topics every time. Have a great day.
Chris, I was thinking about robbing a store.
You can't do that. You'll get shot, Jimmy.
I'm white.
Oh yeah.